Hi everyone, welcome back to the SunnySide, where we have weekly love horoscopes that are right for the Echo newspapers in good old Kamloops, BC. We have hypnosis-styled meditations to help mend broken hearts and find true love. And we have fun astrology videos just like this one. And today, I'm going to rank the top most boring signs of the zodiac. Hi everyone, I'm Sunny. Alright, first things first. Today's list was recommended by one of our viewers, Heavy Duty Truck HDT, and I thought it was a good idea, so here we go. Alright, well, what's boring? Okay, well, obviously anyone can be boring, right? Depending on your version of fun and excitement. But the guys on this list today, well, generally they can be shy, they can be homebodies. They like to hang out with others and they like to have fun, right? Sure, everybody does. But they can also be antisocial, and more often than not, they can be just as comfortable doing the same thing day in and day out. Some people would call this characteristic stable and dependable, but for today, well, we're going to call it boring. So here we go. Only 4 signs today and a couple of honorable mentions. And with that, number 4, Scorpio. Yup, Mr. Ice can definitely be an antisocial loner who spends all of their time behind the scenes just kind of doing their own thing. Now, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and that is a very cold and very distant planet. And, well, for the Scorpio, for the most part, can be very cold and distant kind of guys. And are they friendly, social, and willing to help when you're down? Of course. But to get there usually takes a bit of a journey. And many Scorpios get the rap of being antisocial simply because it's difficult to get them to open up. It's difficult to get Scorpio to let loose and have fun. Anyways, Scorpio's also fixed energy. So they tend to like repetition. They're patient when working towards their goals, and they understand the subtle energies of life, and they respect them. So, for the most part, Scorpio they don't really rock the boat either. But be forewarned, okay? If the boat begins to rock, Scorpio will sink the ship with everyone still on it. And they all know that they're like this. And for the most part, if Scorpio senses a situation where they're not going to be able to play nice with others, then it's highly probable that they'll decide not to play at all. Does this make them boring? Well, not putting personal differences aside so that everyone can have more fun. Okay, well, for one, it's selfish, okay? But yes, it is boring. And even worse, it's kind of a lame excuse to stay in. But there's more. If a Scorpio's been hurt in the past, it's going to color their view for a very long time afterwards. And your naturally reclusive Scorpio will develop a protective emotional shield that will see them locking themselves away for a long time. And this is the gray lizard part of the sign. Yeah, seriously. So instead of soaring like the eagle, they hide behind the apathy of the gray lizard. It's interesting, but there's a little more. As much as Scorpios think of themselves as mysterious and they know everything in a psychic way that you haven't figured out yet, Scorpio is unbelievably predictable. Somewhere along their journey, Scorpio develops a way of approaching things. And whether it works or not, that's just the way they're going to do it. It's predictable and it's a little weird. But the biggest truth is, Scorpio once again is a fixed sign, and they're homebodies, who, like the other signs in the list today, they desire a strong family and home life. So they'll be just as happy sitting on the couch all day, eating popcorn and watching movies, as they would doing almost anything else. Excuse me. Number 4, brooding, overbearing, moody, mean, and boring. But oh so smart, sexy and fun. And if you can ever wake up that part of them. Scorpio. Next, Number 3 is ruled by the planet of restrictions and control. And for the most part, these guys are quiet, reserved, sometimes shy, definitely patient, steady, stable, and seriously boring. And that's Capricorn. Yes. Alright, yeah. Okay, Capricorn is friendly. Yes. They are kind. Yes. And they do like to go out and do stuff. But it's not some kind of impulsive physical or emotional desire. If they're going out, then it's usually out of curiosity or to see what's going on or to make a social appearance rather than for the experience. And as a contrast, let's use Sagittarius. Sagittarius loves to go out and experience the world and have fun adventures. Capricorn, on the other hand, well, they like all of this as well, obviously. But it's not some kind of internal want or desire or subconscious pull. And I'll put it another way. Once again, Sagittarius likes to have fun adventures. Capricorn likes to build. They like progress and climbing higher. And that's the calling. And yeah, all work and no play is kind of one of the definitions of, well, totally boring. But in their defense, you know, some signs kind of like that. Scorpio and Capricorn get along so well because they're both calm, chill, doing their own thing. They are both extremely powerful signs of the zodiac, and neither of them really give like a holy doodle about you and the stupidness you just did. Capricorn is a goal-oriented person, you know? Goals and achieving them is what turns Capricorn on. Sunny, did you just say Capricorn gets turned on by hard work? Yes and no. Capricorn is excited about success. Capricorn is into reaching and surpassing goals. And because of Saturn, their ruling planet, they're willing to sacrifice some of the fun to get there. So number 3, and they're boring on purpose, Capricorn. Okay, next. Number 2 is a super moody homebody. They like fun. Oh, they really do like fun. They like adventures, you know, they do like to get out, and they like to share. But unless you go and drag them out, then more often than not, you'll find them at home doing some kind of weird art project, and it's just kind of weird. And anyways, number 2, Cancer. Okay, like the other signs so far, Cancer is also ruled by a reclusive satellite, and that's the moon. And I've said it before, the moon is so close and so big at times, but there are other times when the moon is right there, like right in front of you, and you can't even see it. And this is the life of Cancer. Cancers, they're so beautiful and they have so much to offer, but literally half of the time they're standing right there and no one notices, you know, or moreover, no one even sees them. Cancer is the undisputed #1 wallflower of the zodiac. I mean, even Capricorn will venture into the group to share in the conversation. And Cancer won't budge unless you take their hand and gently lead them into the fun. And here's an important note. Scorpio and Capricorn might actually not want to join into the festivities. You know, they're loners and they can be really weird at times. Cancer, however, they really do want to join in the fun, but they're shy and they're afraid to jump in. But there's more. Cancer is definitely moody, and believe it or not, they can be very argumentative for absolutely no reason. They're also aggressive cardinal energy, and it's hard to believe, but Cancers are aggressive. And as a result of this combination, Cancer can easily hold everything up and slow down the general groove just because that's how they feel in the moment. And in the very next moment, they'll push everyone, to get going and get on with the adventure. It's remarkably inconsistent, and truly, it's something bizarre to experience. Okay, a little more. Identified by the crab, which is an animal without a neck or vocal abilities, Cancers are the worst verbal communicators of the zodiac. They'll just sit there, right? They'll just sit there and brood and not tell you what's going on, even when you ask them. And to all Cancers out there, right? I know this sounds hard, or that maybe I don't understand or I don't care, but I do. Cancer is one of my favorite signs. And I am patient, but Cancer also lies. And we should all, you know, we're not stupid either. Anyways, a Cancer's foul mood can just as easily stem from something that they did as it could be something that you did. So heads up. Anyways, back to boring. Cancers want to have fun, and they want adventure, but they're the biggest wallflowers, sit on the couch, too afraid to make a move, existing in the shadows sign of the zodiac. Very easily. Number 2 most boring sign, Cancer. Alright, honorable mentions. A lot of people say that nervous Virgo is boring, okay? A lot of people say this. And if you only look at the reputation, well, they're supposed to be nerdy bookworms. But that's not really the action here. Virgos are grouchy. Oh yeah, definitely grouchy. But they can also be remarkably sporty, alright? And they like to have fun. They are, okay, Virgos are definitely know-it-alls who are constantly complaining about everything, but they're not exactly confident. And for the record, confident people usually do something about the problem. People who lack confidence, you know, they tend to complain. Anyways, Virgo doesn't make the list today because, you know, well, they're always doing stuff. You know, is it fun? Not really, not for me. But it is usually interesting. It's not, Virgo's not a boring sign. Okay, who else? Okay, well, many people find Libra boring. And this is where things get subjective. This list is more about the wallflowers and antisocial guys, and Libra is clearly neither. But they do tend to be way over the top superficial and only into appearances. And many people find this behavior predictable, shallow, and lame. Personally, I kind of like it. You know, not everything in this world has to be a fight, and Libras know this. And I really like Libra, you know. I really like Libra's smile, you know, when they talk about their goals. You know, even if the goal is to find, you know, the perfect purse to match those shoes that she has. I think it's kind of cute. Alright, so those are the honorable mentions. Alright, back to the list. Have you figured out number 1 yet? It should be kind of easy. They are slow, okay? They are plodding. They're definitely stable. They like tangible things. They are super possessive. And when they plop themselves on a couch, they ain't moving for nothing. And that's Taurus. Yeah. I mean, is this even a question, really? Taurus even comment on that they're boring. You know, I've had many comments come up that say, "Are we really this boring?" Like, anyways, it doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't make them stupid. You know, Taurus are extremely smart. They're highly perceptive. They're a little bit psychic, you know. They're just, you know, Taurus is the captain of the ship, and their job is to get everyone to safety. Taurus is simply nurturing and growth energy. Look at it this way. In the story of life, whoops, in the story of life, where did this go? Okay. In the story of life, we have Aries. And Aries enters into the world and they set the stage for the story that will eventually become their life journey. And they do it with personal energy and expressions of raw and unrefined self. Taurus then takes over and plants the seeds necessary for survival and success. As such, Taurus are kind of like the farmers of the zodiac. They take their time because, well, growth and long-term permanent success takes time. That's the long-term part of the long-term permanent growth success. Anyways, so no, Taurus isn't going to rush because haste makes waste, and Taurus is not into waste. What's next? Taurus is ruled by Venus, so they're into beauty, peace, and love. Not necessarily into Mars themes of aggression and competition, nor are they into Jupiter themes of bigger and boisterous, nor are they into Mercury themes of speed and communication. Taurus is, once again, ruled by the peace and love of Venus, which for a lot of people is boring. No, Taurus doesn't rock the boat. They're a little clumsy, so they might accidentally bump the ship on a rock, but they're not doing it on purpose. You know, Aries might do it on purpose, just because, right? But not Taurus. Taurus is dependable and strong. They're also a fixed sign, once again. So they're not changing, but they are beautiful. And once again, many signs find beautiful and peaceful boring. Yes, Taurus can be huge wallflowers. They can be shy. They rarely take the lead. And they are into long-term relationships. And the key thing to remember in the game of seduction when it comes to Taurus is the word sensual. Okay? And well, sensual is not usually experienced at warp speed. Anyways, more than any other sign, Taurus is just sitting there waiting for everything to unfold as it should. And this, my friends, may be mature and responsible, but it's also boring. Our number one most boring sign, and I love every single one of them, Taurus. And that's the list, everyone. Thanks for watching. And if you like the videos, please help support the channel by giving it a thumbs up, maybe. Maybe even share with your friends on Facebook or on YouTube playlist. And, every little bit helps support the channel, and I appreciate all of it. And anyways, if you have your own list, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll read out the best ones on the weekly love horoscopes that come out every Thursday right here on the channel. And that's the action. From the SunnySide.net, I'm Sunny, wishing everyone the absolute best of a fun and exciting, unless you're hanging out with some Taurus and Cancer kind of week. Wishing everyone the best, and I'll see you soon.